নমস্কার। আজকে আমাদের সাথে যিনি আছেন তিনি ট্রাভেল করতে অত্যন্ত ভালোবাসেন, এমনকি ট্রাভেল তার প্রাণ। সারা ভারতবর্ষ, বিশ্ব শুধু না, ভারতবর্ষেরও অনেক জায়গায় তিনি ঘুরেছেন। আমার খুবই প্রিয় মানুষ শ্রাবণী দত্ত, আমরা সাববিদি বলি। সাববিদি, থ্যাংক ইউ ফর জয়নিং আস। এই যে একটা প্রোডাকশন করতে চলেছি রামায়ণের একটা মডার্ন ভার্সন নিয়ে, তার জন্য তোমার কাছে কিছু জায়গার গল্প শুনতে চাই।
ওয়েডিং অ্যাটেন্ড করতে গিয়েছিলাম এলাহাবাদে। সেখান থেকে সুলতানপুর গিয়ে আরেকটা ওয়েডিং এর আরেকটা ইভেন্ট ছিল সুলতানপুরে। কোনো মতে সেই ইভেন্টটা শেষ করে পরের দিন ভোরবেলা গেছি একটা গাড়ি নিয়ে অযোধ্যা। খুব সুন্দর রাস্তা ইউপির অন্য জায়গার তুলনায়, and সুলতানপুরে অনেক সুগার মিলস আছে অ্যাজ ইউ নো। তো ফাইনালি when we reached অযোধ্যা, আমি তো প্রথমেই ছুটেছি রাম জন্মভূমি টেম্পল দেখবো বলে। আচ্ছা, সেইখানে টেম্পল তো একধারে পড়ে আছে, সাইডে একটা টেন্ট রয়েছে, পুরোটা ব্যারিকেড করা, ইউ ক্যানট এন্টার। সেখানে বিগ্রহ, যাকে ওরা রাম লাল্লা বলে, তিনি বসে আছেন এবং তার চারপাশে কমান্ডো ঘুরছে আর অনেকগুলো মাংকিস। বানর, সেখানেও কিন্তু বানর সেনা। তারপরে ওখান থেকে গেছি আরেকটা জায়গা যেটাও খুব লোকেরা যেতে ভালোবাসে, সেটা হচ্ছে হনুমানগড়ি। সেটা হচ্ছে, as we all know and legend has it, that when Ramchandra wanted to take Sholil Samadhi in Sharayu river, he actually asked Hanuman to keep an eye on Ayodhya in his absence. So Hanuman perched himself on a hill and would keep an eye on the city of Ayodhya. So at this point in the hill, একটা খুব বড় temple has been erected, and that is called Hanuman Gari. But তো ওখান থেকে আমরা কানক ভবন বলে একটা দেখলাম, সেটাও হচ্ছে বলে যে কৈকেয়ী ওইটা bhavan যখন it's a residential house, but inside the bhavan you will still find that the deities have been established. So legend has it that Kaikeyi gave it to as a gift. তারপরে যেটা খুব সুন্দর লাগে সেটা হচ্ছে সারাইউ রিভার ইটসেলফ, ওটা আবার ফেজাবাদের দিকটায়। আচ্ছা, ওইখানে কিছু ঘাটস আছে, খুব সুন্দর। কিন্তু বেস্ট হচ্ছে রাবড়ি জলেবি। আচ্ছা, আচ্ছা সাবিদি, তাহলে এইবার একটু দক্ষিণ ভারতের গল্প শুনবো তোমার কাছ থেকে। তুমি বলছো দক্ষিণ ভারত, আমার মনে হচ্ছে তাহলে রামেশ্বরমে যাওয়া যাক। So when you talk about Rameshwaram, it is so much like Banaras that you have to get past the dust and the grime and the dirt to be able to get to the essence of the place. Okay. So when I had gone to Rameshwaram, I had actually taken the train from Madurai to Rameshwaram. Now Rameshwaram is in an island. It's on the Pamban Island. Okay. So the train from Madurai actually takes its route inside Tamil Nadu till it comes to Mandapam, which is on the shores of the Bay of Bengal. Okay. From Mandapam to Pamban, then it takes the train bridge, which is actually a sea bridge. It's 2.5 kilometers long, and at that time it was the longest sea bridge. It was pretty hair-raising because there were no railings. But right now you have the Worli Sea Link, so that's why the Worli Sea Link is now the longest sea link. And also now I'm told that there's a motor bridge which connects Mandapam with Pamban. So more than one way of getting there. One way of getting there. Okay. So Pamban now has evolved into a very nice holiday destination with surfers dotting the coastline. But from Pamban, you have to go further inland to get to Rameshwaram. As I was just telling you, Rameshwaram is a very dry, arid, your typical temple town
Mm-hmm.
with a fishing community along the shoreline.
Okay.
But Rameshwaram's, and when we were there, I think we stayed in the TTDC guest house. That's the Tamil Nadu Tourism Development Corporation guest house. Not very many places to stay at in those days. I'm sure things are improved since. But the center of Rameshwaram is the Ramanatha Swami temple.
Yes. Yes.
So
What are the legends around that temple?
Yes.
What are the legends?
So I will talk to you about two things. One is the legend piece, and the other is its architecture.
Okay. Okay.
So Ramanatha Swami temple, why is it called Ramanatha Swami temple? Because it is a Shiva temple. Though it is in Rameshwaram, you will agree that Ram used to be a Shiva devotee. Right. So is Ravan a Shiva devotee. So Ram and Ravan have this thing in common.
Absolutely.
So and Ravan is also a Brahmin. So yes. The legend has it that Ram actually prayed in the shores of Rameshwaram, asking for divine grace, strength, and power so that he could wage the war against Lanka and win it. Okay. At that time, he built a lingam with sand. Okay. So this is one of the these are one of the original Jyotirlinga, 12 Jyotirlingas. So this linga, which was built by sand, is called the Ramalinga.
Okay.
There is a Vishwalinga, which was brought by Hanuman from the Himalayas under the instruction of Ram.
Oh, okay. So one is local and one is imported.
Yeah, you got it. Now, another interesting fact about Ramanatha Swami temple is when you enter the temple complex, you will find that there are about 22 holy water bodies in the form of tanks, ground wells, and ponds, and you can actually bathe here.
But why so? 22 holy water bodies?
Because this signifies 22 arrows in Ram's quiver.
Very interesting. Wow. So, I mean, one can wash their hands or something.
Yeah, you can actually bathe. There, when I went there, people were, the rituals start very early in the morning, and it is considered kind of a holy ritual to be able to take a dip there before you do your prarthana and the puja.
Okay.
So devotees queue up there.
So you mentioned the two lingas, the Ramalinga and the Vishwalinga. Both can be worshipped. I mean, like you can give puja to both the lingas, or
yeah, they are both placed there. Yes.
I see. Oh, okay. So one goes once you enter, you have the 22 the holy water, and then you pass through. So tell us what.
So the other part I'm coming to, you're right, is the architecture of the temple. So this is the temple with the longest corridor, and it's built in the Kanaka style, and it has about more than 1,000 pillars, each a marvelous piece of architecture.
Wow.
And more than 1,000, yeah, about 1,200. And this temple was built in the 12th century. So it's been there for a pretty long time. Once you are in Rameshwaram, you wouldn't let it go without going to Dhanushkoti.
Okay.
So Dhanushkoti you have to reach there again. When I did Dhanushkoti, I took a jeep from Rameshwaram and went further inland. So around another 20 odd kilometers, and then took the last few stretches on foot to reach the shore. And that is actually Land's End, which is at the site where Ram and his allies built the bridge to Lanka.
Okay. And that is around 20 kilometers from Rameshwaram.
Yes, roughly.
Roughly.
And, yeah. And the interesting thing is, when Ram had finished waging the war and he had won, and then he had come back to Indian shores, Vibhishana, the newly appointed king of Lanka, he had wanted Ram to destroy the bridge. because he did not want any other army to find this route to Sri Lanka. So, and Ram actually obliged. What he did was he took his bow and used that to break the the bridge. So, and that helped demolish it completely. And in Tamil, Dhanush is the bow, and Kodi means end. And so that is why that place is called Dhanush Kodi, because that's
wow.
yeah.
So,
Now, if
the bridge was built by Ram and his Vanar Sena, destroyed by Ram while coming back to secure Lanka, because that was the strategic placement of Lanka as an island. So what is interesting is, and I know I'm kind of going into a controversial territory, and since you have been there, any local legend or anything that can signify that was there actually a bridge?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So once you stand at that point, all you'll get to see with your normal eyesight are a couple of limestone shoals over there. But if you take a satellite picture, and I can share one, and it's available. You will see that the entire length from Dhanushkoti to Munnar Island in Sri Lanka has these sandbags, and the sandbags are topped with limestone shoals.
Okay.
Now, the geologists have studied this in detail, and they have seen that these sandbags date back to some 4,000 years. And the limestone shoals are even, predate that, kind of another 3,000 years before this. So around 7,000 years in age. Now, this again is not, these limestone shoals is again not typical of the area. So there are a lot of, explorations going on, and still there is a lot of mysticism and myths around how these have actually arrived at that point.
Wow, very interesting. So what is also interesting is this time period that you have mentioned, it also kind of matches with a lot of research people have done with astronomical positions mentioned in Ramayana, and it also goes back to around 5,000 BC, which is 7,000 years ago. So that's very interesting that both of these kind of meet at a point. So you have been to Dhanushkoti. So what is there? Is there anything?
So here's the thing, right? So Dhanushkoti has been completely destroyed in the cyclone of 1964. So what remains today is a ghost town, totally abandoned, and unfit for human habitation. Couple of ruins. I will share pictures later. You can see them. That there's not much life there today. So you can barely stay there for 45 minutes, take a look and come back. So at this point is actually closer to Sri Lanka than to mainland India.
So Shavidi, now I have to ask you a question, which I know that you had plans in 2020 to go to a place which I also want to visit one day. Of course, because of the pandemic, it was cancelled, and I know that if something gets in your mind with and tours, you end up doing it at some point in time. So, and that is Sri Lanka. So I know that you have not been there, but in your research or in, maybe you know something from your friends who have visited, anything, what are the places that you would visit if you had to go to Sri Lanka?
Sure. Since we're talking about Ramayana, in addition to, Kandy, Galle, and Colombo, I would also visit a place called Rumasala. This is about 120 kilometers from Colombo and very close to Galle. Now, since we've been talking about Ramayan, I will add here that when legend has it that when Hanuman was bringing the Gandhamadan Parvat from Himalayas to help heal Lakshman in Lanka, chunks of this big mountain
Okay.
actually chipped off and fell at different points in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
One such point is Rumasala,
Wow.
where it actually has taken the form of a mountain, kind of a hill mountain, and which slopes into the ocean.
Okay.
Interestingly, over here, you will find medicinal plants with properties of medicinal plants found in Himalayas.
Amazing.
So, and there is a lot of study which still in flight as we speak about how this has happened, and there will be pros and cons and studies
Right.
on both sides. So that's on.
Right.
What is interesting also is here we have a Buddhist temple
Okay.
atop this hill, and a structure of Hanuman has been erected at that point. And it does have a lot of footfall in a country which is more Buddhist than
Exactly.
Hanuman followers, right? So yes, I would like to go and see that place sometime for sure.
Masala, that's amazing. Thank you, Shavidi, for sharing these stories. And this is very, very interesting, entertaining, and informative for our audience. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shobik.